Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar has called for urgent de-escalation in the Middle East, stressing that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states must be respected. During a telephone conversation with Kuwait's Foreign Minister Sheikh Jarrah Jaber Al Ahmad Al Sabah, both leaders discussed the evolving regional situation. Kuwait expressed concern over continued attacks on its territory and voiced support for the full implementation of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding. The Kuwaiti Foreign Minister also praised Pakistan's role in promoting dialogue and regional stability. Iran's supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, has accused the United States of repeatedly violating its Memorandum of Understanding with Tehran, saying the breaches prove that President Donald Trump's signature is worthless and lacks credibility. In a written statement, Khamenei warned that Iran and its allies would not forget the recent developments. His remarks come after the collapse of a ceasefire agreement and renewed exchanges of military strikes between Washington and Tehran. 2 US service members have been killed and 1 remains missing following Iranian missile and drone attacks in Jordan. The US Central Command said several personnel were injured during the attack, with 4 evacuated for medical treatment before later returning to duty. Jordan's military said it intercepted multiple Iranian missiles overnight. The incident comes as the US military continues strikes against Iran, marking another escalation in the ongoing conflict. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister for Legal Affairs, Kazem Garibabadi, has that said Tehran has suspended its commitments under the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the United States. Garibabadi has said Iran is fully focused on defending the country, adding that it would respond forcefully to any aggression and hold those responsible accountable. Pakistan has been negotiating an expanded defence pact with Kuwait in exchange for energy cooperation and investment. According to 5 sources with knowledge of the talks remain at an early stage and could still be complicated by heightened tensions between the United States and Iran. A Pakistani security official said Kuwait's wish list includes everything, stressing that Pakistan isn't and cannot consider a deployment of combat troops at this stage. Iran has launched renewed attacks on US Gulf allies after a 7th straight night of US strikes targeting Iranian military sites, including logistics infrastructure, escalating the war 1 week after a fragile ceasefire agreement fell apart. Both sides also took aim at shipping traffic, with the US saying it was enforcing a naval blockade, while Iran said it targeted vessels that violated its rules on navigating the Strait of Hormuz, the vital waterway for 1/5 of the world's oil supply. The US military's Central Command said it concluded its latest round of attacks by hitting surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapons storage, and maritime capabilities. US strikes in southern Iran have severely disrupted access to drinking water for thousands of residents. Iranian officials say a US attack targeted water desalination infrastructure in the coastal village of Bunji in Jask County, Hormuzgan province, leaving around 10,000 people across 20 villages without access to drinking water. According to the official, the strikes completely destroyed a pumping station used to extract seawater, as well as a power transformer at the Bunji desalination plant. Moreover, a representative for Hormuzgan province said recent US attacks over the past 2 nights killed 7 to 8 people, all of whom were civilians. Iran has also issued one of its strongest warnings since the latest phase of the conflict began, saying it will launch a full-scale offensive if the United States continues its military campaign for another 2 to 3 days. Major General Mohsen Rezai, a senior military advisor to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, and a former commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, said Tehran is prepared to dramatically escalate the conflict if US attacks persist. At the same time, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps warned countries hosting US military forces to prepare for what it called a corresponding response. Wildfire smoke from hundreds of blazes in Canada has spread across large parts of the United States. US President Donald Trump has blamed Canada for the pollution, threatening to add the economic cost of the smoke to existing tariffs on Canadian imports. In a post on Truth Social on Friday, Trump said Canada should be held accountable for failing to properly maintain its forests. Canada has rejected suggestions that the country failed to address the wildfire crisis. A minister said Ottawa has invested about $8.56 billion in forest sustainability, wildfire prevention, and emergency preparedness since 2020. Authorities in India's capital Delhi have moved social activist Sonam Wangchuk to hospital against his wish after his condition worsened on the 21st day of a hunger strike. TV footage showed dozens of security personnel holding large white cloth sheets like a curtain on a stage that had been created for the protest before Wangchuk was taken away. Deputy Commissioner of Police told reporters that in compliance with the court's order and based on health conditions and medical advice, Wangchuk has been moved to an appropriate government hospital for medical intervention. Wangchuk had told government doctors on Friday that he did not wish to be moved to a hospital. At least 14 Palestinians have been killed in multiple Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip, including 8 mourners who died in a drone strike on a funeral procession in central Gaza. According to Palestinian health officials, the deadliest attack took place in the Al-Balata market area of the Nusayrat refugee camp, where an Israeli drone struck civilians gathered outside the Ahmad Yassin Mosque before a funeral procession. Al-Auda Hospital said 8 people were killed and at least 20 others were injured in the strike.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has accused Israel of using US influence to push Washington toward conflict with Tehran. In a post on X, Araghchi claimed that Israel was waging a campaign to steer US policy and alleged it was using American taxpayer money to silence critics. His remarks reference a Time magazine report on an alleged Israeli influence operation targeting the MAGA political base.
Apple has overtaken Nvidia to become the world's most valuable company, reshuffling the top ranks of tech heavyweights as investors reassess the outlook for artificial intelligence. Apple was last valued at $4.88 trillion as its shares held steady, while Nvidia was roughly at $4.86 trillion, following a 3.5% decline. For a company that was often seen trailing in the AI race, the milestone reflects Apple's efforts to establish itself more firmly among the sector's leading players and could shape how CEO Tim Cook's final months at the helm are viewed.